Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, March 26, 2026. This is Truth News. I am Walter Bass. Tonight, we're going to just speak freely. I do have a couple of shows written. I don't want to cover them right now. There's just too much chaos, hate, mayhem, death, destruction. It's everywhere you look, everywhere you turn. So we're just going to speak freely. First of all, let's give a shout out to the serial child killer responsible for all of these YouTube videos. 16-year child rapist, murderer, torturer, abuser, and child sex trafficker, State Judge Kelly L. Hansen from Marietta, California, in the county of Riverside. Thousands of children he has kidnapped, raped, murdered, tortured, abused, and sold, including my son that I haven't seen or heard from since 2021, who I'm told is dead, according to Capitol Police Intelligence. Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department's 3rd District told me Donald Trump ate this child. That's right, Donald Trump eats children. The President of the United States ate this child. That child right there. A victim of cannibals in the United States of America in 2026. Sounds a little far-fetched, sounds a bit hyperbolic, exaggeration, but the whole world knows the truth. From Iran to India, everybody knows the United States government rapes, murders, sells, and eats children. This is where we are in 2026 in the United States of America. You know, sometimes I will ask myself, how did we get to this point? Not as a government. I understand those psychopaths. They're sociopaths. All they care about is sex, money, power, control. I understand their pattern of behavior. What I don't understand is how 340 million Americans across this country, whether it be local law enforcement, state law enforcement, federal law enforcement, how is everyone simply allowing these crimes against humanity to happen in the United States of America? How are police chiefs and captains and lieutenants and detective intelligence, the FBI, Homeland Security, NSA, ATF, DEA, how are all these individuals, human beings, as they claim to be, bless me, they claim to be individuals, they claim to be human beings, but it's like they get a job and they just put their morals, their values, their integrity, their self-respect, their dignity, they just put it all in the garbage can, put on a uniform, and just do what they're told. I don't get it. I've quit jobs for a lot less than my boss raping children. I don't know if I've ever worked for a child sex trafficker or a child rapist or a pedophile. Never. I can smell them a mile away. I can tell by their mannerisms. I can tell by their tone of voice, how they speak, how they carry themselves. You can tell a child molester because there's something, it's not human. There's something wrong with someone who molests children. Period. That's not normal. It's nowhere near normal. And I wonder that every day. I make phone calls every day. I called 911 on Capitol Hill tonight, and they just burp in my ear on the phone. Just a loud belch in my ear. That's how desensitized and dehumanized the United States of America as a society has become. It's sickening, it's heartbreaking, and it's tragic. It's tragic because of how many people for so many years have given their lives for this country. They have traveled to foreign lands and died for the idea that the United States of America is the greatest country on earth. The land of opportunity, home of the free, where you can do what you want. You have the opportunities to do whatever you want. And now it's all been stripped away. The death of 1,000 cuts, bit by bit, piece by piece, slowly on, methodically, over time, stripping our rights, stripping our freedoms, ripping away our liberties. And here we are, a nation beyond decline. We are in despair. Forget decline. We were declining for the last 10 years. We declined under COVID, under Biden, under Obama. We were declining. Under Bush, we were declining then. We are in despair. We have federal agents roaming the streets of America, murdering American citizens. Those same federal agents are now in airports across the country, supposedly to assist TSA. They're just walking around, drinking coffee, laughing. We're laughing at our own destruction. To put it in an analogy, it's like sitting in your home, lighting it on fire, and laughing as it burns down around you. Does that sound logical or rational to you? What would you think if someone was sitting in their home, lit it on fire, and was just sitting there laughing as it burns down? You would think these people are psychotic. That is what is happening to the United States of America right now. And the irony, I thought about this. The irony of this is the millionaires and billionaires who are destroying this country, who live in this country, who have everything they have because of this country, are now going to crash the country. And if we lose the American dollar, if the petrodollar, if Iran collapses the dollar and the world converts to the Chinese yang, wong, whatever it's called, YUANG, if the world goes away from the US dollar, the very people collapsing the system are collapsing themselves. And I don't think these people are welcome in other countries now. I don't think China is going to welcome Elon Musk. I don't think so. I don't think Russia is going to welcome Peter Thiel or Jeff Bezos. I don't think they want to live somewhere like Australia with the extreme weather. The animals, they say in Australia, everything's trying to kill you. Talk about cutting off your nose to spite your face. These people who are pure evil, pure demonic, there's no other word to describe them, they're psychopaths, are destroying the very country that created them and gave them the opportunity to become everything they are. I mean, biting the hand that feeds you. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And a lot of these people, I can't help but think, like, the reason they're doing this is because they have no respect for themselves. They have no respect for hard work. They have no respect for dignity, morals, or values because they've never had any. They've never had to work hard. It's been given to them. A lot of these people come from old money, like Rothschilds, like Trumps. They're old money. Or they're like Caroline Levitt, married into money. They never earned it. They never worked for it. They never pulled themselves up by their bootstraps. They have nothing creative to offer the world. A lot of them, like Elon Musk, he got rich from the American taxpayer. He got rich from we the people. Because he had an idea and he petitioned the government for a whole bunch of our money to do his idea. And he didn't build it. He had other people do it. See, these people aren't smart. What they do is they get money from the government through grants, through non-profits, like the Erica Kirks, like her mother. like these TPUSA people, like the TD Snakes, the Joel Osteens. They start these churches and nonprofits and government-sanctioned businesses, and they get a whole bunch of free money from other people. And then they start pretending like they're smart and creative and innovative, when in fact, they're not. They're empty. They're godless. They're soulless. And all they do is, they're like locusts. They just devour anyone that comes near them, like Hollywood. Hollywood just chews people up and spits them out when they're done. They're predators. They prey on other people. They're traffickers. They cannot do the work themselves. They cannot be creative themselves. They hire people. They use that dirty money to hire good people, to be PR people, to be speechwriters. The Jesse Waters, the Greg Gutfelds. These people are stupid. They are legitimately stupid. All they can do is read and look at a camera and try to sell you propaganda. That's the extent of it. They're all fakes and frauds, fake and gay. In the words of Candace Owens, fake and gay. And speaking of gay, at the CPAC speech, the Republican CPAC, which is going on somewhere in Texas, some gay town in Texas, I forget that it's literally called, like, let me look it up. It was like Gaylord, Texas or something. I think it's CPAC. It was day 1, 2 hours ago. And they have a gay porn star speaking at the Republican CPAC. A gay porn star at a political meeting. This is what our government's focused on. This is their priorities, their itinerary. Let me find this guy's name. I heard about it on the way home. I'll just Google his name. Let me see, where is it? It is Gaylord Texan Resort and Convention Center. Gaylord. You don't think that's blaspheming God? You don't think that's mockery and smite? I'm sure Grindr's going to crash. Reformed gay for pay porn actor Corey DeAngelis. Corey DeAngelis, a gay porn star, speaking at the Republican CPAC at Gaylord Convention Center in Texas. If that isn't Sodom and Gomorrah type stuff, Babylon, if this isn't demonic, and you know, I'm a big time reader of the Bible. I'm no biblical theologian. I'm no John MacArthur or Billy Graham, but I can read and comprehend. I study. I repeat and repeat and repeat. And the Bible says that sodomy is an abomination to God. Leviticus 18:22. Man shall not lay with man, woman shall not lay with woman. And it also says that that's one step above bestiality. Like after you become gay and get bored with being gay, then you switch gears into animals. And let me remind you, this is the United States of America in 2026. This isn't the Congo. This isn't the Amazon rainforest. This is the United States of America, a civilized nation, supposedly. And we have Hollywood with cannibals. We have a president who rapes, beats, and murders children, documented for decades. We have a cabal of child molesters, homosexuals, drug addicts, alcoholics, and psychopaths littered throughout our government. Legitimate psychopaths that have no place in society. I mean, and I'm watching a lot of YouTube. I stay up to date with Candace and Barron, and Barron had a crash out, not last night, but the night before, when he said, or maybe it was Monday, when he said he's just sick of being lied to. And you know, it's one thing to be lied to. Everybody gets lied to in your life. Everyone. You're lied to by your parents to spare your feelings. You're lied to by your spouse, maybe for good, maybe for bad. Everybody gets lied to. That's part of the human condition, you could say. But to have people who are supposed to be leaders, set an example, pillars of the community, who are supposed to be respected, admired, and looked up to by millions, to have these people lie so outlandishly and so blatantly about such vile and heinous acts as crimes against humanity, crimes against children. You know, I still can't believe the United States military bombed a little girls' school and murdered over 160 children. And they still had the audacity to get up in front of a camera and lie about it. To murder children and get in front of a camera and lie about it is a level of depravity and barbarianism that I didn't know existed in this day and age. This is Genghis Khan style behavior. I mean, this is a level of ruthless, evil, depravity, and inhumanity that I never knew existed. And the fact that I haven't seen or heard from my child individually, and he's just one of millions, make no mistake. My son is one of millions across the entire country. This isn't an isolated incident. I'm nobody special. I'm one of millions of parents across the country who's had their child stolen, raped, tortured, abused, neglected, trafficked, murdered, or sold by their own government. 2026 in the United States of America. And people think it's funny. People laugh about it. There's no empathy. There's no compassion. There's no remorse. I could call 911 on Capitol Hill right now, report cannibalism of children. They're either going to laugh, hang up, burp in my ear, make jokes. Who makes jokes about raping, murdering, selling, and eating children? What kind of human being thinks that's funny? I don't see anything funny about it at all. It makes my stomach sick to think about it. And these people don't even bat an eyelash. They actually enjoy it. Who? You know, we all knew kids growing up, and I'm sure everyone can relate to this. We all knew kids that had a fetish for harming animals, whether it was shooting birds with a BB gun, whether it was kicking cats or dogs, or, there was always just one or two kids, whether you knew them directly or indirectly. If you went to a public school, there was always one or two kids that were kind of outsiders that, everybody knew, man, that kid does strange things to animals. And, even back then they were shunned. Like, everybody knew something's wrong with them. That's not normal. And here we are in the United States of America in 2026. And to harm children, not just harm them, to torture, rape, abuse, and eat children by a group of people, not one or two, a collective group of people spanning the entire country, from California to Washington, D.C., to have this whole group of people committing these crimes against humanity, against children. And everyone laughs and mocks, makes jokes, ignores it. The United States of America is dead. You see that flag upside down? It's over. It's over. It doesn't matter how we vote. It doesn't matter what we do. It's over. The idea of freedom and liberty and justice for all, the idea of fairness and equality, the idea of everyone has the same opportunities if you just work hard and apply yourself, whether you're rich or poor or black or white or straight or gay, the idea that no matter what background you come from, that you have the same opportunity as everyone else if you work hard and apply yourself, that's over. It is all nepotism. It is a cool kids club. None of us are invited. None of us are welcome. If you don't rape, torture, abuse, eat children, you're not welcome. You're not accepted. If you care about law and order, you're not welcome. If you care about truth and justice, not welcome. Don't care. If you're not about sex, money, power, and attention, you're not welcome. If you want to be a good, decent human being, do the right thing, stand on truth, stand on principles, you're despised. You're an enemy of the United States government. It's over, ladies and gentlemen. Iran. The media of Iran is trusted more by the United States public than the media of the United States of America. That's how off the rails, upside down, this Orwellian world we're living in. This is how far down we have gone. The media is not trusted. The government's not trusted. None of law enforcement is trusted. There's no trust. And without trust, there's no relationship in anything. In anything. Trust is the number one foundational principle for any relationship to proceed forward. I don't care if it's personal. I don't care if it's business. I don't care if it's friendship. Even people you don't know, if you go to a restaurant and you see something going on in the kitchen and you don't trust that they're preparing your food the right way, you will never go back to that restaurant again if there's no trust. That's with any relationship in life. Trust is the guiding principle for any relationship to proceed forward. And there's no trust at all. Not just between the people and the government. Not just between the media and the people. No. There's no trust among the people. There's none whatsoever. So therefore, we cannot proceed as a society because we are no longer a society. We have become tribal, cliquey, several isolated small groups with no one trusting anyone. Therefore, there's no intermingling. There's no cohesiveness. There's no society. We have a group of child rapists and pedophiles, millionaires and billionaires. That's the tribe. And then we have the LGBTQ tribe. That's a tribe. And then you have the MAGA tribe. And you have the Democrat tribe. These are all tribes. None of them are cohesive anymore. Therefore, we do not have a society. Therefore, we do not have a country. That's the truth. 2026, our 250th year anniversary. Only 250 years. We're a baby when it comes to length of time for a nation or a society. We're in infant stage. 250 years. Iran's been around for thousands of years. That's the kingdom of Persia. Persia's been around since the Bible, 2,000 years. China's been around thousands of years. Bless me. There's no more America. And it's not because of the people who did evil that destroyed this country. It wasn't a few thousand people. It wasn't Hollywood. It wasn't Trump. It wasn't the Democrats. It wasn't the media. No. Our nation was destroyed not by the people who did evil, because they were few, compared to the millions who were good people who stood by and did nothing. That's what destroyed America. Too many people looking the other way when all of this stuff was happening, when the Patriot Act was signed, when the false flags were being ran and we knew what was going on, and everyone said, well, what can I do? While this handful of people were conducting evil right in front of our faces, the millions, hundreds of millions, who knew better, didn't do anything about it. That's what destroyed America. And now, the currency of our country is hate. That is the new currency of the United States of America, hate. And it is spread like a plague across this country. I see it everywhere. I hear it everywhere. Hate. And they laugh about it. It's almost fun to hate now. It's a pastime for some people. It's a hobby. Hatefulness is a hobby for a lot of people for no good reason. They just go around spreading hate, and they think it's funny. And now we don't have a society, we don't have a country, we don't have a future. If the Iran war stopped today, or conflict, or excursion, or military strikes, whatever label you want to put on it, I'm really over the nonsense, just the nonsense. If it stopped today, it doesn't matter. It's not going to change anything. If Trump died tonight, it's not going to change anything. There are still 435 psychopaths in Congress. This isn't going to change. This isn't going to stop. They are not going to stop raping, murdering, and selling children. They told me, Riverside County, Eva, matter of fact, I'll identify her. Eva in Riverside County laughed at me when I was screaming and yelling about child sex trafficking of my son. Laughed at me and said, Walter, You have delusions of grandeur if you think you're going to stop child sex trafficking. Delusions of grandeur is what they told me if I thought I was going to stop child sex trafficking. Why would I have to stop child sex trafficking in the United States of America in 2026? Why is this even happening? Has no one stopped to ask themselves, why is Walter Bass having to do all these federal casework, phone calls, and emails? Has nobody said, why are people raping, murdering, eating, and selling children in the United States of America? I think we're asking the wrong questions to the wrong people. I shouldn't have to make YouTube videos every day because my government eats babies. I shouldn't have to put in for federal casework with Ro Khanna, Thomas Massie, Robert Garcia, Tom Cole, Sarah Jacobs every single day because my government sells stolen children. I shouldn't have to work 8 hours a day, come home, do all types of research, take notes to make a YouTube video. Because the United States government rapes children in 2026. Shouldn't have to do all this. Because if we lived in a functioning society and country, this wouldn't be necessary. Too many people doing their job instead of doing what's right. Because I'm going to tell you, if I worked for anyone in my company that was a pedophile, a child rapist, a cannibal, if there was a cannibal in my company anywhere, I would immediately go to my boss, supervisor, owner of the company. I don't care how far I'd have to take it. And I would tell them one of two things is going to happen today, right now. Either you deal with this guy and do what you got to do and get him out of here. I don't care if it's the cops. I don't care what you do. Get this scumbag away from me or I walk right now. I got boundaries. I'm not working around trash like that. That's zero tolerance. Zero tolerance. Luckily, I've never been on a job with a pedophile that I'm aware of. Ever. And I've worked a lot of jobs from New York City to California. I don't know that I've ever worked with a pedophile. I've worked with some buttholes. I've worked with some narcissists. I've worked with some egomaniacs, some megalomaniacs. I've worked with alcoholics and drug addicts. Yeah, but no pedophiles that I'm aware of. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're past 30 minutes. It is a funeral for the 250th birthday of America. It should be the funeral. Because the country's dead. Society's dead. It's over. And I want to read from Revelations because I can't help but listen to this. And it makes me think. I read a couple of things. We're going to start with Revelations 17:8. Is that 8? No, I'm sorry. Let's go with 17:5 and 6. And I'm going to switch to another verse. And on her forehead a name was written, a mystery. Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and of the abominations of the earth. Now, isn't America known as Lady Liberty? Isn't she a female country? Babylon the Great, mother of harlots. And the reason they say it's a mystery is because the Bible never tells you the location of this country. It never tells you the location of this nation. It just says, and on her forehead a name was written, a mystery. Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and of the abominations of the earth. Ladies and gentlemen, the United States of America is the mother of harlots. It is the abomination of the earth. I grant you, there are other countries that are responsible for crimes against humanity, vile and disgusting behavior. But I don't think there's another country on planet Earth that does this to their own children. I don't think so. Correct me if I'm wrong. The genocide of American children conducted by the United States government for decades using legislation like the Safe Family Adoption Act, confidentiality laws, CPS, Hollywood, the politicians, Predator Beach, Pedophile Hill. All of this culminates into the abominations of the earth. And let's go to Babylon has fallen. It's going to be Revelations 18:1. After these things I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was illuminated with his glory. And he cried out with a mighty voice, saying, Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a dwelling place of demons and a prison of every unclean spirit and a prison of every unclean and hateful bird. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the passion of her immorality, and the kings of the earth have committed acts of immorality with her, and the merchants of the earth have become rich by the wealth of her sensuality. The wealth of her sensuality. Sex sells. You ever heard that? Sex sells. I couldn't sum that up better for the United States of America. She has become a dwelling place of demons and a prison of every unclean spirit, the lesbianism, the homosexuality, the drug addiction, the social media addiction, the hate, the greed, the lust, and a prison of every unclean and hateful bird. Hate, the currency of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude tonight's show. I'm going to put a reminder. I'm trying to get a laptop, a microphone, and an interface to upgrade this podcast. I do work, but I pay bills. I can barely afford where I'm living. So I do have a GoFundMe set up. I'm going to show you a picture of it. I don't want money. If you want to just mail me a laptop, if you want to get a Walmart card, anything you could do to help this podcast, I would greatly appreciate it. There's the GoFundMe. I appreciate your time and attention to this matter. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I don't know what came over me. I appreciate your time and attention. I really do. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you all tomorrow.